we are live now. I know someone will be wondering, where is the other person? You know where the other person is before, by the time we get on with tonight's event. Okay, so I wait for others to be joining. Yes. Thank you, Neka Kanayo. Thank you, Smiley Femi. Thank you for joining. I hope you're not wondering, why is it that it's only me? You know the reason after now. We all know the reason after now. How has your day been? In your live video. You might just want to help me drop it there. How has your day been? Yeah, is it Maxi G or Mac EG? Thank you for joining. Eniola, thank you for joining. Thank you. Your videos have been pretty funny and informative. Ooh. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are trying to just demystify too much seriousness. So we need to put in a little bit of fun and ensure that the right information are still passed across. Life is not that hard, not that difficult. Don't worry, it's like a puzzle, because I'm the only one you're seeing here, and very soon you'll know why my wife is not here. I'm still leaving it as a puzzle. Or if can someone just put it in the comment section why you think I'm the only one appearing at this point in time. Our guests are online right now. So what I'll do is I will welcome. What I'll do now is I will bring them up, and we'll get to that part where we know why my wife is not yet here with me. I'll invite you up now. You can come up now. Can I accept the invitation? The Kiki boys, Mama. If you accept it, you'll come on. Okay, let me see if it will accept it. Yeah. I actually sent you an invite, but I've accepted yours. Unstoppable Woman. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for joining. We'll soon get on. I'm trying to get our guest in. Let me send you the invite, because the one you sent, I actually accepted it, and it seems not bringing you up. The last time we were the one that eventually sent the invite to our guest. So let me invite you again. So once I invite you, please just accept it. I've sent the invite now, so you can accept it, and let's see you come up. Yes, I think you're coming up now. Hi. Hello.
Let's see. Yeah. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, can hear you. And it's a puzzle. I've been saying to the few people that have joined us now that they are seeing only me. I said they will soon know why I'm the only one on the screen. Another few minutes.
Your wife is bringing the wine for us. That's why she's not here.
Okay, please, Chinwe, it says she cannot hear us. Can others just help us to confirm whether you can hear us? But I can hear our
Yeah,
guests, and I think our guests can also hear me. So
yeah, we can hear you.
so that in case you are the only one not hearing, you can just log out and try to log back in. We believe the the glitch rather, will be taken care of. So I'm trying to.
Yeah, I think she can hear now.
Okay. Can I see my wife? Is she on now? Let me see. She's joining with our own
Oh, okay.
device.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Can let me ask her to join the waiting for her. That our guests are up. Thank you, Unstoppable. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Chinwe Lux. Thank you. Is it Dasola? Yes, Dasola Goki. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me see the others. Thank you, Fola Shade. Thank you, thank you. I'm waiting for her to join with her device, then I'll bring her up. So how has it been today, Sir Ama?
Been good, very busy. For me, it's been very
I think
busy.
I'm seeing the busy state on your face.
Okay. Oh.
Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. Thank you so much. We do appreciate, and I know we are in for an explosive time. Thank you, Mama Jedidiah. Thank you, Dukwe. Thank you, Debola K. Thank you, is it Hortense Ndangang? Forgive me if I have not called the name properly. Thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, people are joining right now. I'm waiting for her to log on, then people will know why she's not by my side right now.
We are trying to put everybody in suspense, right?
How are you doing, sir?
Doing great.
Yeah.
By His grace.
Thank
Doing great.
thank you. Thank you.
I'm
Sister
taking good
Jado.
care of him, Pastor Dele. So
You
he's doing
said?
very well. I'm taking good care of him, so he's doing very well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sister
Okay. I think your
Jado.
wife has joined.
Finally.
So let me see
Yeah, the Pamela,
her.
thank you. So let me just invite her in. Then we hear why she's not here with me. It's the first time ever. So I've invited you, babe. So accept it. Yes, you splitted the screen into two.
I'm here. Hello, Bolaji. Hello, Bukola. So good to have you both.
Nice to have you.
Hi, love. I'm sure you're missing me.
It's a pleasure having you around today.
So where
Very
are you?
well.
Why are you not with Pastor Dele?
I've been telling them, I said, some people are surprised now. I said, it's a cliffhanger. So waiting for when we'll say why.
I went far, far away.
Enjoyment.
not away from me as a issue, so but He'll wait.
He waits for something nice to call me.
Yes.
Yeah. So when she comes back, she's fresher and she's more ready for me. You know, understand?
Mm-hmm. You know.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like,
Mhm.
I like that.
I'm already longing for her to just come back. It's the first
So,
time
I
ever
like it.
that this is happening.
so
Yes. There's always a first time for everything.
Yeah, sure. There's always the first time. Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
So yes, let's dive in. We are really so glad that you are here.
Mm.
I know I joined late. Have you read the bio? Have you done the
I've not done
introduction?
anything. We're just enjoying ourselves. But currently, we have Wise Beauty, we have Unstoppable, we have Joshua, we have Debola K, we have Mama Jedi, we have
Mm,
Dukwe, we have UK Smart Online, Bukola Yemi, Uche, Agunabo is here with us.
thank
We
you,
have Chinwe
everyone.
Lux, Folashade, we have Abe, we have Dasola, we have
Thank
Pamela. Thank you,
you.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
So let's
pleasure.
dive straight in.
Yeah.
It's 7:10 already. Good,
Mm-hmm.
good, good. So you did the intro, right?
I did the intro.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, I'll do the intro, then you introduce our
Yeah.
guest. So good evening, everyone. It's Mary still works once again, and I really want to believe that you've been having a great time with the previous episodes and editions we've been having. We've been bringing in amazing guests who have been really shared their story, shared with us how they've surmounted, the issues in their marriage. And I know a lot of us have been inspired, liberated, blessed, and just given the strength to go on our marital journey and even our relationship generally. And so before we bring in our couple, Dele will do that. We just want to welcome you and say, this is Deliwa Talks Real. We do this once a month. We bring in couples once a month. And this month is a powerful month. We're having two programs. This one that we're having the Bolaji and Bukola on our Marriage to Work series, and then we're having a sex program dedicated to sex entirely, in 2 weeks' time. Why are you coughing?
Sorry. Sorry. Good.
That session is going to be mind blowing. We are not taking it ourselves, we are bringing a guest, and that guest is a sex expert. She's going to unravel and talk about everything. You have the opportunity to ask your questions. It's a no holds barred, okay? So please get ready. Invite your friends, invite your colleagues, invite everyone, okay? So let's dive right in. We have a lot to talk about today, and I'm really excited because this couple, they are special in every sense of the word. So
Yes.
later you introduce them quickly, and let me dive into my questions.
Yes. I want to just add something to that sex session because we realize that when you have a format of Q&A, you're able to get more from the speaker. So we're going to be doing it a little talk, then more of Q&A on that day.
Yep.
I'm talking
Yep.
about the one on sex coming up on the 30th of this month. So I felt I should just add that to it. All right. So
Thank you.
let's get down to the business of the day. I have here with us, especially Bolaji and Bukola Jolugbo. Bolaji and Bukola Jolugbo, chartered accountant and user researcher, devoted to family, faith, and fellowship. Meet Bolaji and Bukola Jolugbo, a dynamic duo whose lives intertwine at the intersection of professional excellence, community impact, and profound devotion to family and faith. My heart is even doing Jim. Bolaji, a seasoned chartered accountant, brings precision. I love that. Precision, insight, and financial acumen to his profession. Bukola, also known as Kiki, is the visionary founder of Joshua's Army, a movement dedicated to nurturing strong relationships between fathers and sons.
Amazing.
and sons. Yeah, she collaborates with Christian professional parents to raise world-class men, leaders, husbands, and fathers. A multifaceted trainer, facilitator, and host of family-oriented events. Kiki's focus on fostering healthy and functional families extends to her keen interest in guiding teenage boys toward a path of growth and leadership. And her commitment shines through her work, crafting life-changing processes that cultivate nurturing family environments, essential for the development of boys into exceptional and wholesome young men. Together, Bolaji and Bukola Jolugbo lead the couples fellowship of their local church, embodying their joint dedication to God, marriage, and sanctity of family. This illuminates every aspect of their lives, built on foundation of love, faith, and unwavering support for one another. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not
Drum
here
roll.
physically to be saying we should be clapping our hand, but you can put those claps
Drum roll.
virtually in the comment section. Let us make our guests so much welcome into tonight's session.
Yes.
Well, I can clap my hand because people are saying
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Nice. I mean, you both of you are a powerful couple, and we are so blessed to have you here. And I know that everyone logged on and everyone who will listen or watch this session after now, they are really going to glean a lot from you. So I'm just going to dive straight in. So I'm the questioner, like I would always say. So I'll
I am
shoot
the
straight
supporting
away.
striker.
So if you know me, you know I love romance, I love love. So I want you to tell us how you met. How did it start? Let's start from the very beginning, like Genesis. Where did you meet? How did it start? Who said I love you first? I mean, all those gist.
Where did we meet? We met at for those of us that know Lagos, we met at Maryland Wise. There's Wise in Maryland. So he was writing his ACA then, and I was sitting for my ICSAN exam, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators. So we're both getting ready for professional exams, and we were attending Wise, which was like a tuition center in Maryland for professional exams. And now this is the point where I say you're not giving permission to say anything in this matter. Any wonder in this particular, because the way it tells the story. But yeah, we met at Wise, and I remember on that fateful day, he would always say that he was a fine boy that walked into the room, that I was looking at him, but I can't remember looking at him, but I noticed. So we were preparing for exams. I think lectures were over. You know, those times when you just go into study. And I used to, but my cousin of blessed memory now, we used to be together. Yes. Bukola, I'm sure you would know because you're an accountant as well. My cousin, we used to go to Wise together. She was doing ACA, I was doing ICSAN. And then apparently the young man has been eyeing me. But you know, when two young girls are always together, you know, and we were kind of posh, proud, good-looking young girls.
And I love the qualification. You know.
We weren't talking about you. I didn't even know you. I didn't even know you.
There's no problem. You have his version. You have the opportunity to say his own version.
Version or personally,
You know, I am
that
from
version.
saying his version. You cannot say his version in this episode.
Anyway, so we now so that day I think I was going to read overnight. So he said when he had been noticing me, but in fairness, when he walked into the room, I noticed the clean suits and the shoes, and I was like, so when I saw the shoes, I was like, it's a now I just said to myself, you know, and then I got up to go and get snacks because I was going to read overnight in Wise then, and then on my way back, the young man just stopped me And young girl, now can you just stop me on the road? And I was going to wait and say, my friend, come here now. I'm still talking to you. So that was like, what audacity. So I came back because I was like, how dare you? But I was like, this guy is courageous. Yeah, but for you to tell me and then I came back and we kind of spoke, but I just wanted to just leave me, let me go. And then I gave him our home address. No, I didn't give you our address. I gave you phone number. Why are you looking at me like I gave you phone number, and then it was a fine boy banker then. So he called and disturbed our house phone with his phone and everything, and so then I used to attend Fountain of Life and I used to attend Redeem. So when I go for church, one day I just came from church and I saw the person by our door and I was like, hello. No, before then, I go home from church one evening. I went for singles fellowship in church. And as soon as I was getting home, because I was living with my auntie, so my cousins were like, hey, sis, your husband came. I was like, whose husband? How come? The guy has not even asked me out. Why are you people judging husband? And they said, your husband came. I said, who is this husband? He told me, I said, can people say it's my husband? And then, so the next time he came, I was in church again. So he waited that night. He would come from work. He waited that night. And I think that was the day he asked me out. And I was like, me, I have rules. So, and which was true.
I don't suffer.
In fact, somebody put it here. He said, auntie is bullying uncle. Call me Murenike. Say, auntie is bullying uncle.
No, I mean, he was the one that bullied me on the first day now. So, but
So
that guy was like,
back.
I have rules and everything. And we talked about it, and it was like, so of course, a young Christian girl and part of my own whatever. Once a guy comes to me, first thing I say is, I don't know you. First of all, are you a Christian? Before we get talking. And when you say yes, okay. My number one rule is no sex before marriage. Accept or not accept. If you accept, okay, now let's continue the conversation. That once a guy begins to show interest in me, then as a young girl, that's the first thing. Luckily, he said, okay, don't worry. I think what statement he made is, don't worry, we will work it out. And yeah.
And I tried. I actually kept to my promise.
Yeah, you did.
Amazing.
You did.
But there's somebody here, call me Murenike. He said, please, we online group of said we would like to hear a little bit of uncle's side.
Yeah. Thank you.
Did I not say it? Wait, I don't know what happened. Do you have anything to add?
I'm
say
not
no.
debating it. I'm just reading out. I'm just reading out what.
Do you have anything to add? Say no.
Just a little.
Okay.
See, the online group of they want to hear uncle's own. Please allow Bolaji to talk.
Actually, she was right when we actually met in Wise truly. And when I walked into the class, I remember she was actually sitting right in front of the seat, which I choose to sit later. But when I walked in, I noticed that she was actually looking, when you walked in and somebody was actually eyeing you from your head to your toes. She was becoming uncomfortable. I just realized that she popped out. So I thought maybe she was just going downstairs to take water or something. So in all honesty, that day, I intend to read, but immediately when I saw her, nothing actually came in.
So fine, girl.
So I was like, what was the point of wasting my time pretending to be reading, whereas why can't I just go home? Because I waited for her for a couple of minutes. Then she went across Maryland to one Mr. Beach there.
Yeah.
So when I was actually going in a lawyer's, okay,
another day will catch you.
Fight another day. And let me just go back home because I cannot even concentrate. So along the way, where the admin people are along the wires, I met her. She walked past. I said, excuse me. She looked at me. And surprisingly, she was about going again. I didn't know actually the boldness that came over me that day. And my friend, come back here. I'm talking to you. You're still going. Then in shock, she actually just She came back.
Yeah.
And we get talking. And
here we are today.
And here we are today.
But who said I love you first?
Exactly. Hey.
It was me actually. Because I really, really, truly, genuinely love what I saw.
Amazing.
And you know what? It was on that day. It was on that day, that first day that I said, I love you and I want to marry you. And I was like, who will be you? Who is you?
You know, when you see you know, like when you see somebody which is truly yours, well, not a property in terms of owning somebody, but when you see something that you know, okay, I think there's something in common with you guys, that thing clicks. No explanation can be given to it. Maybe something that is actually meant to happen. But I saw her, and truly, genuinely, I lost everything that even what
I know logic was suspended. But at this point, I want to ask, and briefly, Bolaji and Bukola, what by the time you started, dating and talking, apart from the physical attraction, which obviously was there from the very beginning, what were the other things, the other attributes or characters that you saw in each other that kind of sustained your dating and then moving into marriage?
For me,
I'll give her to talk.
for me, I think okay, so one of the things, like I said earlier on, I had like a few things that I was looking at. The first, obviously, you're a Christian, and then I said the second one, and then the third one was that, I was brought up to be very proud of myself as a woman and confident of myself as a woman. So when I meet a guy, the first thing I'm looking at is what value can you add to my life? Above, other than those first two, what value can you add to my life? And I'm not, maths has never been my exact strong point. And I remember that particular period, I was preparing for my statistics exam. So as we got talking, so when he said, "Oh, and I'll marry," I said, we're friends, let's be friends. So I don't even know you, So we became friends, and we would see when we go to class. So when we started talking, and I now kind of, "Oh, what are you studying?" I'm preparing for statistics and all of that. The first thing, one of the things he did that swept me off my feet was he actually taught me, he tutored me, helped me through statistics. And guess what? Me that had in those days, P6, I be P7 in maths, I passed statistics with a distinction. That man, no, they go. And then another thing that I loved about him was the fact that he was very family oriented. It was like, when I said earlier on, as soon as I go home, my siblings were like, "Oh, your husband came." Even before we became that friend, he had become friends with all of my cousins. He had given all of them nickname. There was one, Shekeshu, what's your last name? Eneski. So he has given all of them nickname like that. And I'm like, who is he? He was warm and familiar. And again, the fact that it was God-fearing, meeting a prime boy banker in Lagos who was God-fearing, it was, I didn't grow up in Lagos, right? But I didn't, for me, my ideal place to meet a man is in church, singles fellowship, all those kind of things, But where we now met, and it was that, I think that caught me. Those were the other than the two that I checked list. One, it added value to me from day one. Family oriented and God fearing.
Amazing. I love these things you've listed, and there are some very interesting comments in the comment section.
Yes.
But I'm trying to really kind of rush for time. Let's hear Bolaji's things that you got attracted and sustained your interest in Bukola, both physical and internal qualities. Then maybe you can take some time to just go through some of the questions, but before we delve into the next phase of questions. So Bolaji, over to you. What attracted you and sustained your interest?
Yeah, majorly, to be honest, it has to do with she's actually till now God-fearing and very level-headed. You understand? Because Sometimes uh, I know myself, right? At times, my excesses comes even far more than what I do expect at times. But when you have a woman that no matter your excesses, still trying to talk things over, even when you guys are at the pitch of arguments, she's still trying to, she won't be at fault sometimes, but she'll still try to reason and still try to actually make sure that things are actually put under control, that will resolve things no matter how hard conversation we're able to raise conversation pertaining to it. But so the two major things has to do with being level-headed, very cool, very accommodating, both to me and to my family. Very open. You understand? There's no iota of keeping secrets or saying A today, saying another word B tomorrow. A is A. Whether you like it, take it. Whether you don't, even if I'm not ready to take it, we'll still try and talk over it and resolve things amicably. So those are just the major things. Apart from beauty, that she's.
Of course, she's beauty. I totally agree.
God created more or less. I use extra time.
Oh my God!
That's the point where we speak in tongues.
You say God created you in an amazing way. He took his time, extra time. I totally agree. Bukola is beautiful. D, quickly go through the comment before we go dive into the next set of questions. I see some interesting comments there.
Yes. I've seen the one that talked about, let me see, love is an enhancer. From Omolola. I've seen one that talks about you perform at your optimum, still from Omolola. Then call me Murenike, taking notes for my brother. Where find Itele, get audacity, sabi maths, teach the base statistics to distinction. I can't put clapping hands. So we have the emoji of laughter from Unstoppable. Yes, and another thing again. Yes, call me Morenica. Say Miss Nigeria was found shaking after uncle's description. Come on.
Thank you everyone that is logged in. Please keep the comments coming. We love your engagement. And if you have questions, I can assure you that Bolaji and Bukola are well ready to take your questions. They have all it takes. They are well trained. They have the experience. They have God. I mean, it's an unbeatable combo. Okay, so please keep your comments and your questions coming. So Bukola and Bolaji, let's move to the next phase of questions. Now, the lovey, dating started, then it obviously moved into marriage. So tell us, when did you now marry? How long have you been married? And how has the marital journey been?
Okay. Should I go? We got married in Warri because like I said, my parents were living in Warri. So we got married in Warri, Delta State. And then we've been married for 22 years now. 23 years now. Yeah, will be 23 years this year, actually. Thank you. So, and how has the marital journey go? I think it's been adventurous, it's been interesting, and it's been a journey of unlearning to relearn. So, we've learned a lot along the line. And I think one major thing is both of us we kind of made up our mind that our marriage was going to work. When I don't know if any of you know, in those days when you have this railway in Nigeria, there's this thing they say jiggy like railway. We had that for like some good 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. We had those jiggy, very rough jiggy moments in our marriage. It was rough. But I think looking back today, I am particularly grateful for those years. I am thankful such that if God asks me today, Bukola, would you go through those years again? I'll confidently say yes, because of where we are today and what we're enjoying today. but it was rough. It was rough. It was rough, I would say.
Yeah, because I remember the first, we got married 2001 September. I remember the first couple of months then. You remember, I'm a guy that I've always been on myself, on my own ever since. Fine, like it takes beyond love to stay married. You understand?
Please
Absolutely.
loud
So,
it, loud
yeah,
it.
it takes more than love. And that's the honest truth because love sometimes find it difficult to more or less like walk through certain challenges. Is it family? Is it extended family challenges? Are we talking about? Is it the financial aspect of it? Is it even when kids comes in?
Or even understanding yourselves, because
Yeah.
we were brought up in two different environments. He was brought up in Ibadan, typical Yoruba. I was brought up in Warri, nothing close to Yoruba at all.
She's becoming a racist now. Can you see that?
No, it's not being racist, but it as an but we're brought up in typical, two different environments. And so it was, in fact, I remember that things like the food we eat were different.
Yes.
I grew up in Warri. I was born and bred in Warri. I grew up in Warri. I'm from Ekiti originally, right? And one of the delicacy in Ekiti is eko and efori or pounded yam and efori. You saw his face. They can't start. Ijebu people, they don't even go near eko. He's Ijebu and he grew up in Ibadan. And then me, and we make a call because I'm making delicacy. And then he would just do his face. How? What happened? It was tough. It was tough. The beginning was tough.
So
Wow.
it takes two to tango. You understand? Fine, challenges will come, misunderstanding will come sometimes, but you just guys have to just make up your mind, no matter what.
He said something. Sorry, Pastor Dele, I just want to add something to what he said now about taking two to tango. I'm of the school of thought that it takes two to tango, and it also takes one to tango. And the reason why I say it takes one to tango is because at the time when we're having those challenges, at the point where he was going to relocate to the UK, he's been in the UK for almost 20 years now.
2006.
At the time when he was going to relocate to the UK, in my mind, I was like, where I'll be going? Bye-bye, we are done. For me.
Wow.
But for him, even with all of those challenges, he made up his mind that this marriage will work. Known to me. Because in fairness, I was drowning, But he, on his own, even though he was drowning as well, he made up his mind it will work. So that's one tangling on his own, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes one to be able to stand and say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to do here, irrespective of the place where the other person is.
Thank you very much. So we can actually say that you have to be individually determined, but collectively agree to make things work. Because if there's no resolution individually, making that collaboration to work will be a difficult one. That's what I can pick from this.
You hit it right on the head.
Yeah. Then another thing now is that there's been a major challenge. I was listening to you when you said if you have to go back, despite all the trying times, that it will still be the same decision. Because when you said that, it resonated with me because I always used to say that phrase also, that if I come back and have the opportunity 1,000 times over, that is still my wife I'm going to get married to.
Can't you see the boy we are talking about? Can't you see the boy we are talking about? Is it now?
And people will not know that the first 1 year, I didn't have the boldness. I didn't have the kind of boldness your husband have anyway, but I didn't have the boldness to say, that I hope I've not made I was secretly saying, I hope I've not made a mistake in this marriage. And here we are today. And if I repeat that same thing, just like you said, it's going to be the same decision for me, despite what we went through. Now, call me Morenka, say, why them know the one person? It truly takes more than love. Then the next question is what we'll use to now move into the next phase.
Yeah.
And you say, how did you navigate the food diverse? Now, this person is asking about the food diverse now in terms of food, but maybe you can help us because there are multiple challenges that came. Maybe you can help us narrow those multiple challenges into two major ones, because we know that how you went about one, if we can learn the principles from it, we can actually literally take it and apply it to practically every other areas that that any other person might be going through. So if you would like to throw more light in that regard, maybe narrow down to two most important or the most challenging rather areas that you guys actually you could say that it was a really tough one, then you can share from that perspective and how you navigated it.
Two major areas. I think we would say the influence of third party in our relationship,
Okay.
and then sex. Yeah, for
Two
me.
powerful areas.
I'm itching to hear that of sex.
Why does your ears always twitch when you hear sex?
It rises. It rises.
Same here.
The good
Those two, I think those two are like the main things that were the challenges. And yeah, the influence of third party, which was like majorly in-laws, where there's two major things. But one of the things that there was a lot that was happening. You know, earlier on I said that both of us have two different backgrounds and everything.
Yeah.
And I was kind of
let me bail out. She's tried to dress that aspect of family. Like, I'll use myself as an example. I've always been mommy's boy. I'm the second position in my family, but I so much love my mom. And unfortunately, I've forgotten that I'm going to get married. So when she walks into my life, my mommy saw her as a threat. And that's it. Because the attention I do give to my mommy, then definitely there's going to be a divided attention. Which, unfortunately, mommy failed to realize then that this is the reality of life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, guys as well try to balance the front sometimes between wife and mom. Unless if you're a good politician, let me put it that way. That is when you can really truly balance. Because sometimes you might think you've actually satisfied your wife and you're offending mom. And you might think you're satisfying mom and offending
your wife.
And most men do, including me. I forgot that then that mom and dad, they've actually lived their life. And why the Bible even says, you guys, when you get married, you leave your house and cleave to each other. That was my first mistake initially when I got married. And unfortunately, then I tried all sorts of family stuffs, extended family stuffs, tried this driving in, coming up with one suggestion, another suggestions, another suggestions. And before you know it, that tends to be not physical wall, but a funny wall in between myself and my wife then.
Were you staying in a family house?
No.
And you know the flip side for me was when I was getting married, my parents called me and said, "You brought this man to us. We love him like a son. But there is no way we will be hearing that he's doing this, he's doing that to you, that we will not sometimes want to be biased. So my mom specifically said, please avoid coming to report your husband to me. So I took that like it was delivered to me. So even when we were having those issues and he could go, he was, and I couldn't, because mom said, don't come and report. And in fairness, my dad loved my husband. My dad is late now. My dad loved my husband that, in fact, so many things I didn't even know about my dad that I would hear from my husband. That's how close they were. And the same thing with my mom. You know, my mom cannot go a week without hearing my husband's voice, but she can go 2-3 weeks without hearing my voice. That, you know. So she said, don't, this is how I love this boy. So if peradventure she hears anything, she would sit us down. So it's not a case of Bukola and Bolaji are talking to her. But on the other side, it wasn't managed that way. So it was causing a lot of friction. I felt so all alone. I felt so lonely. In fact, it was bad. It was bad. And unfortunately, like he said, he was struggling to handle it. Looking back now, I could empathize with his struggle. This is a woman that raised you. This is a woman that, you know, my husband, I said earlier on that he's a family person. So, and he just could not handle it. In fact, there was a day he came home there and I said, he looked at it and I said, I'll say it in Yoruba and I said, I hope we are not go. I said, I hope we are not going to kill you at this rate.
We, meaning you and his mom.
Yeah, because we were always clashing, you know, clashing to things that's as little as the name we will call our child. Clashing to, you know, just every and anything. And in fairness, my mother-in-law is a wonderful woman. She just loved her son. And if my mother-in-law wants to drink water and she's drinking the water and the water goes, you know, a separate way, the only person my mother-in-law will call, even though her husband might be sitting in front of her, is Bolaji. You know, so they were that close. And I said to people, when I was pregnant, for my first son, I was ill for about 7 months. She was the one that stayed with me. She will bath for me. She will feed me, you know, put 2 bowls. I remember 2 bowls. One bowl is with the food. The other bowl is where I would pour it out. And when I pour it out, she would say, Pele, she give me water to clean my mouth and continue to feed me. And I'd be like, you know, she took care of me to that point, you know, but just that's my son thing. And, you know, and that's really blew up. It really blew up to a large extent.
So how are you able to resolve it?
Exactly.
Sorry?
How are you able to resolve? Because this is very interesting. And on this show, I don't think we've had any couple that have been able to share, that have delved into something like this. So I'm really interested. And I know that everyone watching and those who will watch later, how were you able to resolve it? Walk us through it.
Yeah, that was what I was about saying then, that, you know, like when we are saying money, these in-laws, the men as well, including myself, I have myself to blame there. You know, like, you don't have to say everything in between you guys in your home to your extended family. Not everything. Then all in the name of, man, I can't do without my mom. I know my wife, blah blah blah, things that are supposed to be between couples. I say it out. You understand? So when you don't apply handbrake into some of the things that you vomit to your extended families, definitely there will be a lot of intrusion. You are actually inviting trouble indirectly without you knowing. You understand? So it got to a point when I realized that, okay, I think I've gotten to the peak of things now. Is either this marriage, the way I'm handling things, is either the whole thing just go down the drain, or I put sanity back. And that was when I actually called our mom, my parents, into more or less like not a round table per se, but talk to them individually. I think we've gotten to a point now which you guys just have to let us go for now. As in, just I don't want to be an apron to anybody again. It's a man decision. The wife cannot confront the in-law and tell the mom that or dad that. Nah, they are my parents. I can actually confront them and tell them it's what I want in my home. I know I've committed lots of things. I've said lots of things I'm supposed to say, but I think I'm ready to take back my voice and I'm ready to put things right. So that was when I stopped every members of my family coming to my house until we're able to actually, fix all the broken windows, all the deflated tires, just to make sure that things come back to the right position.
So, Esther, when you say every member of your family, does that included your mom, your dad, your siblings?
Everybody.
In fact, I was scared.
Wow.
I remember they called me, said, Bukola, I've told my people and I've told your mom and dad, and that from today they cannot call us. We will call them to check on them. No phone calls from them, no visitation. When we're ready to get visitation and phone calls, I will let them know. And then when he wants to check on any of them, he would send their monthly allowance, take care of them, but nothing. And then when he wants to call them, he will bring his phone. Then GSM, that's all he used to call it, was just coming up. He will bring his phone and sit down and say, yeah, he will call, put the phone on speaker and say, Mommy, we want to greet you. So two of us will sit there with my little babies and we will say hello to them. And maximum 2 minutes, the man will cut it off, And so that was the first step. And that was when I felt, okay, this man is ready to make this thing work. And he said it to them and he stood his grounds. Wow. In fact, that even when we visit, he would not let me go out of his sight. When we want to eat, and that was when he started, one of the things he did that I noticed then was he started serving me in their presence. So he started doing some radical things that he'd be like, hey, in our culture, these things are not allowed. He'd be like, that's our culture. But in our culture, these things are allowed. He became very radical in creating our own culture for us. That he would cook, he would serve me, he will do things, and even though, so at the point where he made that decision, he was like, okay, now we're just getting married. So that point was now like, quote and unquote, our year one together. That even though we went through our own season period, we still, it was just the two of us. So we knew that, okay, now this, let me speak worry. Now the two of us, now this matter. It's not the two of us in this issue, or in whatever it is we're going through, and we're going to go through it together. Yeah. That's one of the things he did. On my own part, one of the things I did was, or the major thing I did was praying, because in fairness, it got to a point I was tired. And all I could do was pray, but not necessarily pray on my own. I had two friends who are, them, NGOAME and Grace Adepoju. We were very close. And, the center of our relationship was praying. So we'll come together, but three of us were doing business. So we'll come together on a weekday after dropping our children in school every Tuesday then, and we'll just pray together. And that, not necessarily praying about the marriage, but I was just like, let me just be praying. Let me give myself to prayer and pray for other people. I pray for other things. And, and then that was one thing I did. Now, this is the second radical thing I did. I don't think my husband has ever heard me say this. I stopped dealing with him as a person. I started dealing with his spirit man. I don't know where I got that from. I think it was my mom that told me at some point, because they didn't even know the gravity of what we're going through until he called them to say no more. That was when my mom began to, okay, is it that? Can you, and when my mom now said, it's not him. Nothing happens in the physical that doesn't have a base in the spiritual. So now, like I said, he's probably hearing this for the first time, probably will shock him. But when I would do things like I'll pull chair and I'll sit down. When he's gone to work, I'll say, I'll put a chair in front of me. I say, we go by first name, Bolaji Bukola, that's how we call ourselves. I'll put a chair in front of me. I say, Bolaji, sit down, let's talk. And I'll begin to discuss and tell him how I was feeling. I'll begin to tell him, how we could make things better. This time I'm feeling this, what is wrong with me? This is, the effect of what you're doing, all of these things on myself, on our little boys, because I think then the boys that arrived, they came in quite quickly after each other. So we would, I would talk to him. So I think that was like the major thing from my own part.
At least you can hear from the yes.
Did you hear?
When the yes sit on your leg, on your head, they will readjust, they will realign all those loose knots. At least hearing that one for the first time.
Wow.
Interesting. I don't know, maybe whether you want to say something. If you want to say something, then I'll say something.
I'm just stunned. I've taken notes, and I know you have also taken notes, and I'm sure our people who are logged on are really blessed and getting inspired. But I've been wondering, your parents, your mom, Bolaji, your mom, how did they take it? Did they just take it? Okay, we should not call you, we should not come to us. Okay, that's fine. Did they just take it low like that, or was there some pushback?
People will actually push back. Definitely, there was a bit of line of defense then. But what I wanted then was what stands. You understand? They can't, because it's my house. If all chips are down, it will be my problem. The only thing people will tell you, yeah, sorry. You understand? Sorry is not going to rectify anything. So it's either you pull, how do they call it? You just get get things right and straight, and get things right in your own life, because they've done their own part. You understand? They've lived years before even me come into life then. So they still enjoy their life till my dad passed last year. So I can't, because of, fine, it's good to love your parents, honor your parents, honor your father and your mother, but they're all the same now. The same Bible says, teach each other. So,
And yes, there were pushbacks, and I think, in fact, of course, the African setting. It became me. It was me that had done something to him to turn his back to his family. And yeah, but he would always say, your business in this family is me. So he would say that he is my business. They say you have done this. Did I say so? No. There's no problem. Don't worry. We'll be all right. And today we're all right.
Yeah.
We are all right.
Things are
when you know that you have found favor in the sight of an elderly Yoruba woman, they call you up on me. That's what my mother-in-law calls me. When I hello mommy, hello call me. That's what she calls me. We are all right today. We good. In fact, sometimes my mother-in-law will call me and say, this is what I want to eat. Sometimes she will call me and say, I want to go to so and so place. I didn't even know what to wear. What do you think? We're that good. Even his sister, his siblings, we're very close. And he has one daughter. There are 4 boys and 1 girl. And because, of course, that's with his mom, his sister, who is next to him, there was that gap and everything. But today we're very close, such that I call her Auntie me. Auntie me will call me and say, I want to go to so and so place. I need a makeup artist. This is the color I want to wear. The color, are you praying? It's prayer. What? She's a pastor's wife. We are good today. And in fairness, I'm grateful to God for that decision he made. Because if not for that decision, we won't be good today. We won't be here today.
Thank you
This
very
is
much.
deep.
Can I say some things, or maybe
Bold.
you want to say something?
Bold. No, I'm just bold
Okay.
and courageous move. I mean,
Yeah.
that was really
Yeah.
audacious. But I know you have some points that you want to pass
Uwa,
across, right?
the
Yes.
man that I was working my own JJJ, I said, come back here, my friend. You should know it's bold and audacious.
So I've extracted some things while we were talking now, and for somebody listening now, and for anyone listening after now, listening and watching the recorded version, it means that no matter how challenging you no matter how challenging the in-law relationship situation is at the moment in your home, it means we can actually still remedy it. That's what I'm saying here, because it was so messy, and at the end of the day, you are on a good you are on a good terms as we speak right now. So that's one thing I've picked from it, which means hope is not lost for someone who might be going through a similar phase. Then I remember myself and my wife, I used to tell her this most times. I said, because now there was a resolved decision that you want to do something about it. Because I was talking about prayers, but I'm seeing a combination of prayers and also taking action. You are not taking action without asking for the help of God, and you are not just praying without taking action. So I'm seeing the combination of the two. Now, with the resolved mind, like I used to tell my wife, I said, if we can ask God for that enough boldness and courage to even start it, I said the initial reaction, the initial opposition you will get will be so much. And I will take an object and say, just drop an heavy object, it can be a stone, and drop it right in the middle of maybe in a pond. Right at the point where that thing hits it, you have the highest ripple. But if you can be patient, you notice it, because if you make a decision based on the highest ripple, you will fail to see that over a period of time, that high ripple will ease off and eventually flatten out to not be a ripple. I use that concept a lot in trying to explain that when we come to that realization and we are making a decision, okay, we've gone the wrong road up until now. Now I want to start moving in the right direction. Be prepared to see all those things. I can relate with that, because mine might not be as bad as that, but I can relate with that, because at some point I also have to stand to defend my wife, and at the initial stage it was not funny, but over time they discover we are 8 in our family. I'm number 4, and at some point, the Bukola said it's like she's the problem, and the picture there was as if it's my wife, because the way we grew up we are also very close in that sense. And over time they discovered that even my wife had been the one, it's not a competition, but she's done way more than my older ones, my younger ones, and whatever it is that they've done, they could see the genuineness. So the heat was hottest at the time I made that decision, and over time it eases out. So I could see that you guys now came up with a unified front to speak with one language. It's what you've said, though. It's not me saying something different. I'm just trying to extract it so that whoever is listening can itemize them in that sense. There's a unified front. You presented a unified front, and that's why you are together, and you now say, okay, you know what? You pick a call, you want to call them, we are talking to you, 2 minutes, you cut it. You decide that nobody should visit, because you want to make sure that you even tidy up your own house first and let it be in order before you allow. And then you also communicated boundaries, and now you came to that point of understanding and empathy with each other. And that's why I heard Stabuki saying, Bukola saying, when I think back, in fact, I felt that empathy for him, that I hope we will not kill you, because you could not see the struggle he was going through, trying to manage the home front and trying to manage the family front.
He was not like husband of 2 wives.
Yes.
PD, the picture the Holy Spirit painted for me at that point, that I was like, okay, Paula, you need to step back, because of this man was, You know, he is in the middle. You're not punching bag in the gym. Two of you are punching. And then, so it was like, mom will give him coal, say something to go and give to me, right? When the coal gets to his hand, it's hurting him before he brings it to me. And by the time he's giving it to me, sometimes I will not collect it. Let's look at that analogy. I'm looking, this thing is what I don't want. Or I'll collect it and give it back to you already. Immediately go and give it back. You understand? So and this is me now talking as a mother of boys, such that, sorry, I must go there. Anybody that is a mother of boys, think about it. I believe our generation, we of course, because of all of these things, the more enlightenment and everything.
Yeah.
Or even a mother, you're giving somebody issues. You're giving somebody that someone loves. So I love him, and you're giving him issues through me. He would also want to protect me. So before you know it, you're giving him high blood pressure. You're giving him hypertension, depression, all kinds of things, because that person is the first receiver. And for us mothers of boys, this is a caution. Whatever that girl is his choice. Whatever he comes with, all we can do is pray and trust God for them. If you say, okay, I'm going to show her Pepe, you're showing the her that he loves. And the truth is, you're not just showing her.
You are showing your son, Pepe.
Exactly. So all you can do is pray. There was time my son brought home a girl. In fairness, I think 100% like you. My husband was like, but when I'm talking to the girl, hi lovely, how are you? How you doing? And when it's me that know what I'm doing in my bedroom on my knees. I'm not going to, because if I'm showing my son, I'm stressing my son, because at that point in time, this is the girl that he feels is the perfect woman. But me, I don't have business with you. I have business with my niece, the spirit man that will come and, do you understand? That's a lesson that I learned from the whole thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now we are going to, it's as if we're racing against time, but I'm sure we can do it. I'm very much interested in the other issue you mentioned, which is sex. So I'm just imagining dealing with all these in-law issues and all the back and forth, booze, like our people would say. Then on top of that, sex again. How did it start? And how were you able to navigate through that?
Okay, I think the sex issue was me. It was me. At this time around, I confess. It was me in that, earlier on I said, I grew up in Warri, right? And as a young girl, I'm cool-headed, I'm accommodating, but in the Yoruba sense, mobe, I'm sanguine to the core, right? So when I was about 11 or so, somebody looked at me. I think we were in church. I can't remember where. This person looked at me and looked at my dad and said, this girl, she's so sanguine in nature and very beautiful. If you don't keep an eye on her, girls like this, they end up being prostitutes. And I was just 11. I was so upset. So, but I didn't say anything. They're adults now. I can't even remember. I'm not sure my dad said anything. But when we got home, my dad, I can't remember what I did, but my dad was now so upset with me that he hit me that day, and he now referred to that statement. I now responded to say, as long as God lives, my husband will tell you he married me a virgin. Plus, in Warri at that time, I'm sure you'll be wondering, okay, what has been a virgin gospel cloud? In Warri, there's a festival they used to do, right? That when they during that festival, what the young boys do is they hit girls on their backside and on their boobs. That's part of the festival. They have something. They hit girls on their boobs with their hand, and they have something. They used to call it tube or something in Warri, that they used to hit girls in their backside. And that tube thing, if they hit you with it, it has a stain of red stain. So like blood is staining your cloth, like your period. It's so embarrassing. And I used to feel this is so demonizing to women, to a girl. I'm not an object to be, I'm not a toy. So all of those things, unknown to me, locked my mind, my body, everything. I say to people that, yes, I got married a virgin, but it was, I first made up my mind I was going to get married a virgin before I even gave my life to Christ. I gave my life to Christ when I was 14. Before that, I made that decision when I was 11. But all of those things unlocked my mind to sex, such that if I'm walking past my husband and he hits my butt, how dare you?
How dare you?
C'est déjà vu.
Hey.
So I was locked up, and for me, I'm pregnant. That's it. Sex is for me to get pregnant. Anything. How dare you come near me? How dare you touch me? So even though I was married, I wanted to remain that virgin girl, you know. And I think because my parents were ministers, I got married in Warri. So our counseling session wasn't exactly complete. So I didn't get counseling around that. And that's one thing I'll say to people. If you're getting married, go for counseling. Don't go. They must. You know, we missed that. But later on, we had to, you know, when we're beginning to patch things up and make things work. So I was locked up for years. In fact, till now, he still has to do a lot of background work in fairness, and I give it to him. Sometimes I wonder that 23 years, 24 years, how has he done it that this thing shall happen? And, you know, and because sex breaks marriages.
Yes, it does.
You know, but we're still, and sometimes I'll just look for arguments because I don't touch me, don't touch my body. That thing is still, but it's taking the conscious help of God every day as I go to break it. So I think that's a piece of sex. And sometimes it is like, you know what, madam, hold yourself. and
Bukola, did you ever consider going for therapy to kind of to walk you through this sex issue?
Yes, I did, but I did. Yes, I did. Actually, I did with Mrs. Akuna. I think they've been on your show.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The Akuna. So I have been with them. Mrs. Akuna will talk about it from time to time, and she just gives me counsel because that's their area, you know. And
intimacy. Yeah.
Yeah. We still struggle sometimes, mind you.
Yeah.
Still not
I was going to ask Bolaji that. So having a wife who was like still holding on as if you guys are not married, you know, just that mind blockage when it came to intimacy. How did that affect you? How did you cope?
First few years I struggled big time. But you know, as maturity comes in along the way, I tend to change the tactics now. Instead of all these smooshing and laying, you know, sex starts from the daybreak, helping out, gisting, touching, then just to loosen her and free her mind, because till now she still tends to lock herself up sometimes. Turns everything to a child's play. Just away to wrestling, sometimes tickle her, pretend as if okay, I'm no more interested. You know, just to see whether she's going to actually come on board. Then she'll still. Then you just stylishly move from one topic to another to rape her, then eventually.
I give it to him. It's a lot of work for me. In fact, sometimes we're standing in the kitchen and he will come up like, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. No, you know. And then, you know, sometimes, but I would give that to him because my husband is his libido is 125%.
1 million. 1 million over 100.
Let me recap one thing again. You know, as ladies are getting more mature, the menopause and some other stuff comes up.
Yeah.
And something that we're still trying to wrestle and play and tickle, and then again pain comes in. Not even remembering that, okay, man, I'm going to pass through these stuff again tonight. Tends to actually put her in a state of shock again, or to withdraw. But it's better to understand your wife and help her out from such fear and anything that comes with it. Because eventually, if she open up, it's for the couple's enjoyment. Let me put it that way.
Uwa, because people are married people, just so you know, Uwa, don't call my phone later and say, Bukola, don't call my phone. I'm good. Sometimes when I've been bad.
Yeah, sure.
I like that, sure. But it's something I'm conscious of, and I don't use it as a weapon. I don't use it as a weapon. It's something that's been there. And in fairness, a lot of us, we have a lot of baggage, a lot of traumatic events that we hold that's from our childhood.
Bring into our marriages and relationships.
And it takes understanding and acceptance. I was listening to Pastor Femi Lazarus this morning, and he was talking about the stages of marriage, and he said the last stage is acceptance. That this person I've married, we're going to wage through this together. We're going to work this out together. It's me and you in this matter, and that's where I think we came to, and I must give it to him. I keep saying I give it to him because, when you see that somebody is working, I used to say to people, I said, marriage, the Bible says, work out your salvation. Marriage is part of the salvation that we work out. And I see him working, to make sure it works out. And I commend it.
That's really commendable. God bless you, sir. I join her in commending you. Thank you. Thank you for not allowing.
This is the point where you say, Bukola, I commend you, my friend.
No. I give it.
Bukola, even for you.
I give it to her truly, because definitely we all have different level of libido. When you guys are not at par, somebody is at 125, somebody is maybe at 15. Definitely.
Thank you, sir. I can feel you.
I was waiting for you to talk. I know you will soon talk. I was just waiting.
So struggle comes in. So you just have to understand your spouse. You understand? Because, the moment you guys get to a certain level of understanding, you tend to actually discovering things, and things will still work your ways.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, marriage is not a walk in the park, but if you put in the work, it is very rewarding. That's what we keep. It is very rewarding, and I really want to commend both of you for the tenacity, the determination to continue to make your marriage work. And this is why we started, this Marriage Still Works campaign. Now, anybody listening to you will see that. I mean, see the stories, the experiences you've shared with us today. There's no couple that have shared things, in-law matter like you shared today. And I know it will be very liberating for a lot of people who heard it today and will still watch later on. And it's just all because you have been committed to say this marriage must work, and I'm going to give it all its best. And that's what we are saying. Marriage still works because there are people behind working it. If you say any marriage working, it's not falling from heaven. People are wanting to make it work. So please, everyone listening, if you are any issue you're having in your relationship, whatever phase or season you are in your relationship or marriage, please don't throw in the towel. Marriage still does work. God is still in the business of helping, willing partners to build a rewarding, blissful, and happy homes. Let yours be like Bukola and Bolaji's marriage. Okay, what you put in, the Bible says that what you sow is what you will reap. If you put in the work, you will reap a beautiful marriage. I can assure you. Mine is also an example, and there's so many more. Social media tends to give exposure to marriages that are not working, but I'm really grateful that Bukola and Bolaji came out today to share their story, and I'm super inspired. Thank you so much. I know Dele has things to say. So I'm going to give him the opportunity to say them, and then we can begin to round off. But while he does that, quickly does that, I still have one more question for both of you.
And if
anyone,
anyone listening now have a question, I think they can pop it into the comment section.
Yes.
So before I say what I need to say, Unstoppable says there always has to be a healthy boundary with in-laws. Baby, mommy is online. Patience Oide. That is my beautiful baby's beautiful mom.
Yeah.
I must say that.
Bless you,
And I
mommy.
want Patience Oide. Thank you very much, ma, for being a part of this.
Yes,
She's
yes,
a strong pillar, and
yes.
I would say she's one of my mentors. I must confess that. Let me say
She's
that.
a marriage counselor herself.
Yes. So she said, "You are right, my darling. When you are fighting your son unknowingly, so be a mother in love, not a mother-in-law." My mother-in-law would not say. In fact, I was forced to stop saying mother-in-law. I have to retrace it and reward that thing. It is my mom. So we now decided to say, before my mom passed on, my mom, we are from Ogori, say mommy Ogori, mommy Bini. So there's nothing like in-law there because we've been taken as one. And that's why he's saying here. So when we put the in-law, when we take that in-law factor out, and you could see that person as your own biological child, then it goes a long way in helping because it shifts paradigms and it helps you to relate better. Omo Lola says counseling is key. Mommy say yes, so sex does. Then say emotional bank account. Thank you. Omolola has been so engaging.
Thank you,
Understand your spouse. Self-awareness is important.
yes, so I agree.
Yes. So what I want to say is this. I know we are almost out of time. This is 8:20 already and 9:20 in Nigeria. For those watching from Nigeria, there's a part that I really need to emphasize, and that part is conditioning from past experiences. Anybody watching now, or anybody that will be watching the recorded version, I'm happy that we have guests who actually have been through it, and now they are doing well for themselves to the glory of God. So that for me, I always want to look out for what did they actually did. And thank you, both of you, for being vulnerable, because these are things that people will not naturally want to come out to say. Somehow they feel maybe either feeling ashamed or not feeling comfortable with it, or maybe they are even concerned that what if my husband's side or my mom and my wife's side hear about this thing online? How would they take it? So thank you so much. We really have to really appreciate you for that. Now, conditioning has a way of creating the person that we are today. And in conditioning, you can either have a scary outlook to life, you can have a timid outlook to life, you can have skepticism, you can have trust issue, disposition to life. Just name them, they are countless. It will always be based on the particular experience we went through while we are children. And this is clear that when we at least we have to come first and foremost to that place of awareness. And when we come to that place of awareness, then we cannot decide looking at what can we do. And if you look at what you can do and you feel is overwhelming, it's not something you can take on, or you and your partner take on yourselves, then I think that's the place where you need to seek professional help. And there are help is available. I am here, my wife is here, the two of them are here. You could hear her.
Bolaji are here.
They are here. She major, raising boys. You heard it when I read the profile, so that they can become men, responsible men who will not bring problem to our society, but be an asset to our society and making our society a better place to live. So you seek that. Now we could see from what they've said now that communication was they brought in communication. because they actually have to talk about it. At the initial stage, it was tough, but they are not where they used to be. They are way off where they were. Communication was there, and we could see how they were making effort to rekindle the spark and making effort to make sure that that love, that my wife is the chairperson of when we talk about love story. But what I noted down here is that they rekindle the spark, and that's why there's a need to prioritize intimacy, plan date nights. Now I'm adding to it for anybody listening what you can do in trying to rekindle that spark. Now explore new things together. It will not always come naturally, but when you know is an area you need to work on, then take it on and put in the work that is needed. And when you're having communication,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Be nice.
Because if I leave him, he's on a roll. We will not leave yesterday.
You know, the pastor. He has entered the realm.
Yes, he's on a roll. Thank you, sir. All points taken. Absolutely on points.
Please help us put those points in comments at some
Yes.
point, because we all need this, please.
Okay.
Don't mind my
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you, sir.
You see the kind of wife I have. She's
A blessed one, Pastor Dele.
blessed one, yes.
God bless you, sir. So
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I'm grateful, ma'am. I'm grateful, sir. Thank you. We still have one more question to go, and I really want us to take this, because you've shared so much with us, and I know that it hasn't been all challenges. There's been some high points. Okay, so quickly run us through maybe one or two. What has been some of the major high points in your marriage? That's one. And then secondly, you see why I had to kind of cut in so that my husband that was on the road can kind of come down from the heavenly realm. Then secondly, what do you do for fun? How do you relax? How do you chill as a couple so that we can learn and take tips and take notes? So 2 questions. It hasn't been all challenges. There must have been some high points. Please share with us, because that's also inspirational. And then how do you relax? What are the things you do for fun as a couple?
Yeah, of course. If you, there's some of course, the beauty, the beautiful, the bliss is a lot more than the challenges, and that's why I'm sure we're together, because we began to consciously create that bliss for ourselves, the kind of bliss we want. And so how did we? What are the interesting moments? We play. I am a very playful person, so. And a very. Did you see what it said?
I mean, communicator.
Can you see what he did? Can you see what he did? You see now?
It's for good.
So
it means that you're a good communicator.
Yeah, that's shit. So yes, we play together a lot. We play together. We do a lot of things together. So it's not a case of so for instance, if we run the laundry particularly during summer, the laundry, I'll do 2-3 loads, put them in the basket, we go out and spread them together. Spending time together. We spend a lot of time together. And like I said, we play together, we go out, we go on walks together.
Nice.
And and we kind of listen to each other. I think that listening, I say to people that my husband is a good listener and someone who reflects a lot.
Thank you.
So when I say something, when we talk about something, it goes behind to reflect on it, and he's reflecting, and this I will come and say, okay, I know that this happened, this and this is what I did, this is what I shouldn't do. And the truth of the matter is, 90% of the time, now I'm thinking about it, he hardly comes back to say, this is what you shouldn't have done. It is about, okay, this is what happened, this is what I reflected, these are the mistakes I've done, these are the things I shouldn't have done. I could do better in so and so area. And And he said he apologizes. My husband he can apologize for thy kingdom come. Never, he's not a man that, holds back to apologize. He does that very well.
Again, to have a good home again, let me, in terms of, apart from being the blissful time or some other thing, I love helping her in the kitchen, helping her out. Because I know what I can cook and I can beat her up when it comes to that cooking. So I always go to the kitchen and do that all the time. So, which, is always good to help out in that way. And never to condemn your wife's food. Never. Even if it is salty, eat it with love. She cooks. I don't like prawn.
And you didn't tell that story.
She cooked prawn for me for 22 years without me complaining.
A day prawn. He doesn't like prawn. And I did not know for 22 years.
Wow.
Because he will never complain about food. Like I said earlier on, even when we have those misunderstandings, he will go and reflect and come and say, this is what I did, or this is what I shouldn't have done, and the day I knew about that prawn, our first son was cooking in the kitchen and he was making pasta. Inside the kitchen, I said, hi, this pasta will be so nice with prawn. Let me dash to the deep freezer to get prawn. And the boy said, oh, no, Mom, I'm not adding prawn. I said, no, it will give you some. He said, no, Dad doesn't like prawn. I was like, huh?
Which Dad? Which the same one?
This one. He said, yeah, Dad doesn't. I look at Dad. And Dad was just smiling. I said, don't smile. You wanted to go. I said, come back, Uncle. You don't like prawn. He said, no. I said, but he said, why will you complain about your food? The food that you made, you took time and it's effort. It's not child's play to cook. And then you now give me and now complain. I was like, in fairness, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Well, yeah, and those are things that I won't trade that for. No, is this man again? Now me and you. So, and how do we relax together? We watch movies together. We pray together. Listen.
Name anything in
Morocco. I love my African films, Nigeria. And he doesn't like them. That's another thing. He doesn't like those movies, but he will still watch with me. And then, of course, what else do we do? My husband doesn't like going out. So when you say, oh, we go for dinner, go date nights, go for movies, my husband doesn't like those things. Is this
I'm
our
the
couch?
same WhatsApp group with you, sir.
But my husband loves to cuddle, and so I never feel alone. My husband cannot sit on this couch and his hand is not touching you.
So the few places I've been, she organized it.
Yeah,
she loves traveling.
I love holidays.
So
me too.
indirectly,
I love holidays.
I'm enjoying it now. I'm not.
Yeah. So lately we've been going on holidays a lot. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Amazing. Thank you so much. We've learned so much today from you both, Bukola and Bolaji, and we are really, really grateful. Thank you for bearing your hearts. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being real, and thank you for not holding anything back. So please, for those of us who are still logged on, can we kindly appreciate Bolaji and Bukola Jolugbo? Please put in those emojis in the comment section, the claps, the fire, because I've been really, really blessed today. I've been inspired. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Did you want to close, because this is 8:32 now, so we can wind down.
Can I just say something that?
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody will be wondering, so what happened to our children when we're going through those challenges? The truth of the matter is, did they feel some of the bonds? Of course, because it was hot. But one thing I keep saying I'm grateful to God for this man. Because if I had gone through those challenges or the challenges I'd been with another man, we probably wouldn't be here today. But one of the things that my husband would always do is go back to the boys to say, oh, I'm sure you can see or you could feel or sense that there's something wrong. Don't worry, we're good. We will be good. It would always reassure the boys, and it would and peradventure, the splashes touch them at some point. He would go back and apologize to his sons. He would always, and when he does that, I'm sure he never knew I noticed those things. He would also make sure they see that other positive side. Where he's helping in the kitchen, where he's seeing, where I'm just going by myself, saying, just say, see your mom is shaking her bum bum for me so that we hit her bum bum. Play with me and let them see that, oh yeah, we went through challenges yesterday, but this is how we overcome the challenges. So in fact, one of my boys said something, our first son said something yesterday. He said, in all aspects of your life, when he gave us that good news yesterday, he came to my office upstairs and said, Mom, you don't know how much, now I'm getting emotional, how grateful I am to God for you and Dad. He got a good news from work yesterday. Said, you don't know how grateful I am to God for you and Dad. I've seen you work hard in all aspects of your life, and I see the fruits. And that's what I pray for my life. That I will dedicate, I will put in the effort, and that God will help me see the fruits. And that's because, because we women, sometimes we get emotional, we get carried away with the emotion and but he would do the work to say, they've seen they will see the positive. So there was a day that we just had an argument and he was coming to apologize. He apologized to me. They said that he was rolling me on the floor on our walkway here. And the boss was just looking at us and laughing at us. One of them said, Mom, please, Dad, Mom, please get a room. Why people behaving like two teenagers? So he makes sure they see that. And so I just want to put that out there, that see, sometimes you make the mistakes as parents to say, oh, the boys, the children, they feel, but it's also our responsibility to make them say, yes, we might have issues, we might have misunderstanding, but it's possible to resolve them.
Modeling is powerful, and again, that also shapes the understanding that life, there are issues in life, but if you are deliberate and intentional, you can always walk through those issues to move you to a better place in your relationship. Absolutely powerful and spot on. Thank you so much. Over to you.
And I'm not talking so much now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've dropped in our social media handles and email for Deluwa Talks Real. I've also dropped all their own social media handles. You listen to them, you want to connect with them beyond this forum, please feel free. I'm very sure when you reach out, they will schedule a time where you can directly talk to them. And want to say a big thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Bukola has a program coming on. I don't know if you just want to use a minute to just invite people, Buki.
Okay, thank you very much. So, talking about parenting boys, there is a group that I host by the grace of God, or I lead by the grace of God, called the Naomi's Tribe, and it's for mothers of boys. And on the 23rd of March, which is next week Saturday, actually, we're having our conference, which is called the Naomi's Tribe Life Conference, happening in Porter's Bar. And the theme of the conference is unoffended. I'm sure with everything I've talked about today, you see, one of the reasons I say, when they say, sis, you're glowing, I say, yeah, I take care of my heart. I take care of my peace of mind. And I'm, trained to become unoffended. So part of the things that, we will be talking about at that meeting is offense, how it affects our lives, and how we can actually live a life free of offense. Thank you very much, Sister Farashade. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And you can also mark the date down, 30th of March. This one is for married people, but
It's only for married people.
I can't wait for that program.
please, you can come. You can come if you are not married, but we are going to say
You can
something.
gather point for the future now.
Yes, I'm just joking. Please, you can come,
Yes.
but we're going to be very raw. It's no holds back session. We'll ask questions and what goes on behind the door.
We're going to be very practical.
Yes, what goes on behind the door doesn't concern anybody. So please mark the date. Anybody you know you can bring along. Also send the invitation. Tonight, the flyer will go on our Delua Talks Real Instagram account. We didn't want to put it so that it doesn't conflict with this one. But tonight, so when you have it, help us just share it and let as many people as possible come, because we've seen how sex destroy marriages. Yeah.
So
thank you very much,
everyone. Thank you, and you guys have been wonderful. Comment section has been very. I mean, it was just buzzing. You know, back to back. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for staying put. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time on the 30th. When we take on the very explosive sex topic. You can't afford to miss it. Is it the styles? Is it the psychology? Is it is it the tools, the techniques, the strategy? You cannot afford to miss it. Okay.
I'm telling you now.
I'm sure you will make sure I don't miss it.
Please.
I'm going to enroll her now straight away.
All right.
We'll talk behind.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, everyone, for your comments and all of that. Thank you. Bye-bye.